the country. Now, Hillary Clinton was asked about the war in Afghanistan back in the day, and what she said was brutally honest and correct. Let's watch.
To be fair, we had helped to create the problem we're now fighting.
How?
American taxpayers who are desperate for a better life here in America, they need to hand over billions of dollars to the Israeli government and the IDF, and we need to shut the F up about.
She sent Hillary Clinton into a separate dimension in addition to attacking her. It wasn't an argument. It was a roast with popcorn. And even Hillary's emails attempted to conceal.
Why would Republican lawmakers care about what Democratic voters think? Democratic voters aren't going to vote for them. They're voting for Democratic lawmakers who are totally abandoning them and doing nothing. Look, everyone understands that Republicans are in charge right now. Everyone understands that Donald Trump is the president and Republicans have a majority in Congress, in both the House and the Senate. We get it. But there is a clear distinction between Democrats and Republicans when the shoe is on the other foot and Republicans don't have the majority.
If you're enjoying this, don't forget to subscribe. You'll be shocked at how much it helps. Hillary Clinton is practically a piece of DC furniture since she has been in politics for so long. She reminds me of a sitcom that started off well but ran for way too many seasons. Then Anna Kasparian shows up, not to criticize the performance but to scold the actors, tear up the stage, and burn the laugh track.
Twice failed Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton comes out and chides the Democratic voters into supporting her preferred candidate in the general election. Now, she did the chiding. She did the.
Hillary Clinton's brand is half, I agree with her, and half, why do we still support her? This is the issue. 1 minute she's the progressive champion, and the next she's on quick dial with Wall Street. This is a political ploy. She can walk into a room full of millionaires, take out checks big enough to fund a whole nation, and then talk about fighting inequality without even blinking.
There's one tweak I want to make right off the bat, which is I don't see the Democratic Party really going out of its way to initiate this process of elevating transgender issues. What I have seen is an effort to respond to the right wing, turning the transgender community into its latest boogeymen and women in an attempt essentially to distract.
Anna Kasparian was not going to ignore that. Hillary put her best hits on a rocket and sent them into space. Indeed, Hillary has been the target of harsh criticism from Republicans, Democrats, and even some baristas. But Anna's takedown was different. Anyone who was still clinging to the idea that Facebook memes stole 2016 was probably shocked by it because it was sharp, relentless, and so accurate.
It's used to kind of know where she's coming from. She says crowds at Trump rallies called for my imprisonment more times than I can count. They shouted guilty, guilty, like the religious zealots in Game of Thrones chanting shame, shame, while Cersei Lannister walked back to the Red Keep. Okay, so for those of you who don't watch Game of Thrones and have no idea who Cersei Lannister is, she's best known for being the ruthless, power-hungry villainess who is responsible for the deaths of thousands just so she can sit on the Iron Throne. Wow.
Not
the woman in question actually lost to Donald Trump, the man whose campaign presented anarchy as the guest star, more like a reality TV show. Let that sink in. But Hillary fumbled the bag so terribly that it continues to go downward. She ran a campaign that was more, well, we tried, then yes, we can. And whenever it's brought up, she always has a different defense. Media, foreign interference, misogyny, or even bad Wi-Fi in Wisconsin.
The people we're fighting today, we were supporting in the fight against the Soviets.
Anna rejected Hillary's brand of corporate-friendly centrism disguised as pragmatism, calling it half measures dressed in slogans while the wealthy thrive and ordinary people struggle. She also pointed to Hillary's foreign policy record: Iraq, Libya, Syria, arguing it reads more like a brochure for military contractors, where global crises coincided with rising defense profits.
This book is getting a lot of attention because she has written some pretty insane things in that book. Now, one of the more insane things that was brought to light by, unfortunately, a Breitbart reporter was a portion of her book where she compares herself to Cersei Lannister from...
Anna didn't hold back, quickly exposing the contradiction between Hillary's claims of defending democracy and her record of supporting destabilizing actions. She compared it to calling oneself an animal lover while working as a butcher. Then came the money trail, where the Clinton machine made Ocean's 11 look tame beside its donor list of billionaires, governments, and corporations investing out of self-interest rather than charity.
So what I see happening is they attack the transgender community, and Democrats try to intervene and, in some sense, virtue signal that they're different from Republicans in that regard. But also, use that kind of messaging to campaign against Republicans and like the hatred they put out there.
Everything was so clearly described by Anna that it was impossible to miss the point. This was not charity. It was the sale of a VIP's access to politics. How much does it cost to enter? Your vote is not a giant check filled with zeros. The ultimate political concierge service. Meetings, influence, and favors.
I have a hard time not disliking more of who I am, right? So it's not like I'm reading some headlines and I'm like, hey, I want to engage in some political
The same Hillary, who had positioned herself as an openness advocate, was in command. You could practically hear the political cash register chumming in the background as they preached civic responsibility and smiled for the cameras. Without a microscope, it was hard to tell the difference between charity and advocacy.
And so what I appreciated about that exchange wasn't that I agree with what the United States did to defeat the Soviets in Afghanistan, but I think that that's a perfect example of how the United States and its foreign policy goes in and essentially just creates more problems through its
Anna cut through the facade, exposing the hypocrisy of preaching democracy while treating it as a privilege for the wealthy. A system resembling a private club for donors rather than a government for the people. Her critique was striking because she didn't just peek behind the curtain. She tore it down, showing how politics had become an auction, with the auctioneer dressed in a pantsuit.
So yes, that was the one scene where you felt slight sympathy for Cersei Lannister as she walked, and
Shame.
they said,
Shame. Shame.
Anna argued that Hillary's constant rebranding, new books, tours, and roles masks policies rooted in the Democratic establishment, corporate ties, hawkish foreign views, and a belief that being most qualified is enough, even while ignoring working-class concerns.
Clinton said that a Democratic presidential candidate was the favorite of the Russians, and an aide later confirmed the reference was to Miss Gabbard. Mrs. Clinton's remark about the grooming of a third-party candidate in the 2020 race was in response to a question about the Republicans' strategy, not about Russian intervention.
do you understand what's happening here? This is one of the most pathetic things I've ever.
Anna's birth was terrible. She shattered Hillary's myth like a covert email server. Her politics keep the Democrats from evolving because every critique is presented as an attack on progress. That is comparable to pointing out the emperor's expensive but transparent pantsuit. Like a cook who burns supper and then blames the oven, Hillary set out on a world tour, blaming everything else for failure instead of accepting responsibility.
Politicians love to exploit MLK Day to push whatever agenda they might have. Either that or they just put out a simple tweet to at least make it seem like they're honoring the legacy.
Anna highlighted Hillary's contradictions, promoting herself as progressive while dismissing real change, repeating rhetoric about electability, avoiding tough questions on media tours, and fostering a culture where criticism is seen as betrayal. She argued this amounts to political pressure, with Democrats prioritizing defense over leadership for decades.
The fact that they shoot at people as they're waiting in line for humanitarian aid. Dozens of people get shot and killed literally every single day, as they're waiting for food. No, I'm not gonna let you filibuster, bitch. I'm not gonna let you filibuster. I'm not gonna let you filibuster. You guys are totally okay with IDF soldiers shooting and killing desperate people waiting for humanitarian aid. You're okay with that. I find it so unbelievably evil. Unbelievably evil. It shocks my conscience and my soul that people as evil as this exist in this world.
Anna painted a severe picture, noting that the game has shaped Hillary in ways that are not entirely positive after years of playing it. She overlooks how much the world has changed outside her bubble, even as she advocates for advancement while keeping contributors satisfied. Many people nodded in agreement, saying, "At last, someone said it." Whether one agrees or disagrees, Hillary's legacy deserves thoughtful consideration, and Anna highlighted this with sharp precision and unflinching critique. Anna argued that the era of untouchable political monarchy is ending, as younger people want results, not platitudes, and aren't swayed by decades in Washington. She delivered blunt honesty, rare in politics, raw, sharp, and fierce enough to sting, even if Hillary might not appreciate it.